Hey everyone, and welcome back to Hidden Secrets SMP. And in today's episode, we're going to be decorating the Christmas tree over there, or the tree behind us for Christmas. And we're also going to be talking a little bit about Insomnia i56, the convention I recently attended. Things have been really busy this past week. I actually attended a week ago tomorrow, but with things going on this week, and events and stuff like that been happening, videos been going up, what with Hidden Secrets going up on Thursday, Whisker's Return Tour on Friday, which was Spawn Wars. I haven't really had a chance to sit down and do it, and I've been really busy working on stream stuff and just other work for YouTube. So this is really the first chance I've had to properly sit down and actually work on this, and talk about Insomnia. So it was decorated for Hanukkah because our dear friend Bitter is Jewish, so he wanted to celebrate Hanukkah. We'll get this blasphemy down. So we can tear this down, and that's going to be the first thing really that we have to do. Oops, is tear down the Hanukkah related decorations. And I'm sure Bitter won't mind if I reuse some of them for Christmas. He would want us to do that. And I'm going to talk a little bit about Insomnia. So, Insomnia i56 is, well, let me explain what Insomnia is first. Insomnia is a convention that I have attended. It's a gaming convention for a number of years now. I've been going since 2013. And I was doing YouTube at that time, so I've been recapping it pretty much every Insomnia since. So I usually like to do a little stream recap or a video recap, talking about my experiences at the festival, things that I did, people that I met, stuff that I've done, all that type of stuff. So you know, that was definitely something that people have grown to enjoy on my channel, so this one's not going to be any different. So i56 was the 56th edition of the festival. I've been going since the 49th. And this was the first time that it was a new venue. We moved from Telford to Coventry about a year and a half, 2 years ago now. And now they moved again, and they moved to the NEC in Birmingham. Which, Birmingham is a big city near me. It's about an hour away. And it is it houses the NEC, which stands for National Exhibition Centre. You have to forgive me, I'm a little bit stuffy still from my recent illness, which has not helped my productivity either. So yeah, they moved there because at Coventry they were finding problems where like half of the convention was outside because it was so big, and they wanted to put it all into one complex. And the NEC made the most sense. It's the biggest convention center in this country by a significant distance. It has lots of room, and more than one thing can go on at once. Lots of car parking and that type of stuff, which all does help massively when it comes to dealing with that. And so they decided to move it to the NEC, which actually worked out more favourably for me because it was actually closer than Coventry. We've gotten steadily closer. Telford was the furthest away at about 2 hours. Then we went to Coventry, which is like an hour and a half, and now Birmingham, which is an hour. It's not actually in the city of Birmingham. It's directly off the motorway. If you're American, that would be a highway. And you just literally come off the motorway and you're basically there, which is a great thing. It also has really good links. One of the reasons they moved it there as well is really good links to rail and air, because there was some gas coming from the States and other places around the world. So they wanted to have access to a nearby airport, which there is one really close, Birmingham International Airport, and the rail station is about a 5-minute walk away. So anybody who is local to the Birmingham area or across the UK could get easy rail access, which is equally as important, to have the best possible transport facilities. And, that was definitely a good, strong selling point for why they would move it to the NEC. And it's going to be at the NEC until at least 2018. They signed a 3-year deal with them. So it's something we're going to have to get used to. Now, naturally, when moving venues such as that, you're going to get a few teething problems. And oh boy, was there. And don't get me wrong, it wasn't terrible or anything like that, but whew, there was one or two things that need looking at, that's for sure. And I think a lot of that just came from learning about the venue, which is why they decided to move on a smaller festival to test a few things out, and that definitely made logical sense. For me, that there was sort of, the big issue I had was actually the queuing to get in was pretty bad, which they will, you know, no doubt look at. Multiplayer have a great track record for improving things. When things aren't as good, they will always try and strive for improvement, and I have no doubt that this will be the same here, which is why I bought tickets for I57. But queuing was a massive issue. We got there reasonably on time. We weren't late or anything. We were about half an hour prior to the opening ceremony. Now, where they had us park was a decent location. I mean, it was acceptable, but it was a little bit of a walk away from the actual venue itself. Nothing too terrible. It was probably about a 10-minute walk. I mean, that's acceptable. That was the same as what we had at Coventry and Telford, so that wasn't a huge difference. And I suppose we could have got on the shuttle bus, maybe. I wasn't really sure because we hadn't previously been, so we didn't really know what bus went to what hall, because the NEC is essentially just made up of loads and loads of halls that are basically lined up next to each other in this big, giant complex. And we were in halls 3, 3A, and 4. So we would be no use catching the shuttle bus that goes around the car parks, go into halls 12 and 16 or whatever. You know, we had to choose the ones that made sense, and we just didn't know or have time or anything like that to check all that stuff out. So instead, we just went with what we thought was the best. That was to walk. And it was about a 10-minute walk. It wasn't anything super long or drawn out, but we got there, and there was probably 10,000 people going to be there that day, and there was probably around maybe 500-600 people at least queuing up to get in, and there was probably about 10 people doing check-ins. So naturally this is going to cause a queue. 10 people might be being a bit generous, to be honest. Now, that for me meant that we had a massive hold-up. That's going to happen, right? You're going to end up with a massive hold-up situation, which was not good for me. I was not happy about standing around in a big, long queue for so long. But, I mean, there's little you can do about that, you know. They tried their best, and they were working really hard to get everybody through. Don't get me wrong. That's not something I had a criticism about. I think that the queuing, though, could have been handled better. I think that more people were needed, in my humble opinion, on check-in, so that we were not going to have those types of issues. But, alas, that was not going to be the case. So, we ended up queuing for probably another half an hour, and we missed the majority of the opening ceremony as a result of that. But at that point, I'd kind of queued up for ages, and missing the opening ceremony, my mood just was shot to bits pretty much straight away at the start of the day. And lately, with how things have been going for me, just in life in general, once my mood's gone, it's gone, man. That, you know, that's the end of the road already. My mood just gets into this sort of defeatist attitude, and it's really not good, to be honest. So my hopes and expectations went out the window, further enforced by the fact that there was another problem, I felt anyway. Maybe people would disagree with this one more so, because nobody likes queuing, right? Everybody could disagree with that. But the other problem I found was that the layout for the event was not very good. Something that I would anticipate massively when you first move to a new venue. You're trying to figure out where things should go. But things were not in a good layout. They basically put everything in one room, in one big hall. So the main stage, the expo stage, and the convention were all in the same room, which to me didn't make a whole heck of a lot of sense. I thought they would have utilized the space more, because the halls there at NEC, you know, are massive. There's so many options. You know, there's like 15, 20 halls. Like, honestly, I don't see why they couldn't have used at least one more and separated out the main stage and the expo stage from the convention, which is what they had been doing at Coventry and Telford. So I wasn't really sure why they chose to do that, honestly, whether it was just they didn't anticipate that many people turning up or what, but it made the whole room really noisy. So everything going on in one room, it's really loud and difficult to experience and or anticipate what's going on. So that was kind of a downer. I missed the majority of the opening ceremony. When I got there, all the seats were taken. It was loud, it was noisy, and I was stood at the back, the very, very back, unable to really see anything. And with my defeatist attitude the way it was at the time, I basically just gave up. And I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to go and get a drink now and call it good for that. So that's what I went and did. I just went and got myself a drink and kind of sat down with the folks that I was with and just kind of sat and mulled over the situation, looked through the event guide I'd been given. And I was pretty tired anyway, but you know, I looked at it and I thought, right, okay, let's draw a line under that, and let's try and not let it affect us the rest of the day now. And I don't think it did, looking back on the event. Things picked up from there. For me anyway, things picked up. I just want to see what we're looking like here as far as this tree goes. There's definitely some decoration could be done here still. And I want to get some glowstone involved. So with all of that in mind, I had a drink. I was looking at the menu. Another thing about the NEC, and this is nothing to do with Insomnia, this will affect all conventions at Insomnia or at the NEC, is that because it is not near anywhere, like a city or any cafes or things like that, they know that once you're in, you're kind of collared. You can't go anywhere to get food. So food is expensive. I mean, we brought our own, so it wasn't really a big deal. But for other people, that would have definitely been an expensive day out, no doubt. Car parking was fairly expensive also at £12. I mean, that's not too bad. That was what we were paying. So I shouldn't be too disappointed with that. But still, it was a little on the expensive side for me. I don't mean to sound moany, but I mean, I'm trying to cover the disappointing things at the start and get it out of the way. So the food was a bit expensive, but that's not anything to do with multiplayer or the Insomnia Gaming Festival. That's just the NEC being expensive. Great, is that out now? I might have to start using that. I've been actually running out of tools and equipment for some time now, and we're finally at that point where I actually did sit down and do some enchanting for a change. It's been months, but I finally am getting to that time again where I need to do some mining, do some supply collection, and we might spend an episode doing that coming up here. Just, you know, I need to stand by that blaze farm again for a while. It'll be much better when we have that ender farm and I could just, you know, enchant on demand, but we're not going to have that until the new year, so I don't want to be relying on getting that. So what are we looking like here for this tree? It's got some baubles on it. I'm probably going to get some glowstone on here. I'm not going to do anything super fancy with it because it's only going to get torn down, right? So I'm not going to spend ages on this. So yeah, I had a drink and then sort of figured out my plan of action for the day, what I wanted to see, and all that type of stuff. And the day picked up from there. It did get a lot better throughout the rest of the day. Let me switch out here and get this out. Oh, I'm going to do something with that too. I was actually thinking I might want to incorporate that into the tree, but I'm not going to. I have a different use for that. Glowstone. Do I have any glowstone? I have a bit. I don't have much. Probably going to need to raid some glowstone from somewhere in order to finish this job. So yeah, overall, the start to the day was not great. But things did pick up after that point. So pretty much as soon as I'd finished my drink, I was going to a panel. I watched a live stream panel with a bunch of big streamers on there to pick up some tips and ideas and strategies and things like that when it came to Twitch streaming, because those of you who are familiar with my Twitch stuff will know that I do the Stream a Day challenge, and I stream obviously every day, and my challenge is always to improve my quality, make things higher, things of that nature. So I watched that. They gave out some really useful tips. They had a Q&A, which was interesting. The only couple that I really recognized from that, and I'm not big into watching other streamers, so I'm not too familiar, is I remember LT Zonda from a previous Insomnia, and there was somebody up there, I forget who they were called, but they streamed a lot of Minecraft stuff, and I'd heard of them too. But don't get me wrong, a lot of the tips that they gave out were good. You know, they gave me some pointers and directions and things about where I need to go, you know, moving forward, and you know, using different strategies and things like that in order to best grow your Twitch channel and be a successful streamer, which is something that I'm very interested in doing. So I really enjoyed that panel. I thought that they were very mature, they presented themselves very well, and they made streaming seem like a viable option, I'm sure, for many people. So that was definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, worth my time to check out. And sort of leading on from that, I mean, key points to pick up from the streaming panel were, you know, you've got to consider a lot of it is like a big Monopoly game. You know, it's when you stream and the quality you put in, the time you put in, is what you're going to get out. The games you stream are going to have a big bearing on it as well. You know, that determines who your competition is. Being good in a wide variety of games definitely helps. Being entertaining, interacting with the chat is important. You know, there's just so many tips to give out. Honestly, it's a week ago now, so my memory's a bit foggy on it, but if I sat and thought about it off camera, there's definitely things that I could look at to improve. As I say, a big one is when you stream as well. Streaming late at night where you are increases your chances to hit the high rank numbers. And if those of you who don't know, Twitch goes on a rank-based system whereby the highest ranked people get put at the top of, say, the Minecraft list, and the lowest ranked people go at the bottom. The people with no viewers or one viewer, etc., etc., will go at the bottom of the list. So for me, I stream late at night, so I have a good chance of picking up viewers throughout the night in my category because of the fact that I stream so late at night. So that is definitely a bonus for me, I guess. Being interested in a wide variety of games also does help. You know, and there was other tips and strategies and things like that shared. You got to believe in what you're trying to do, and probably in an upcoming video, I do actually want to talk a little bit about my vision for hidden secrets on my YouTube channel, on my Twitch channel, and stuff like that, and what it is I actually want to do. I mean, that's probably going to do for the Christmas tree. I might put some snow around it, and that's probably going to be about it. But yeah, that was definitely a good panel, well worth my time, and the Q&A had some very interesting questions from the audience. So big thanks to all the guys who did the streaming panel, and all the people who asked questions. And they got parents involved as well, which I think is crucial, you know, at least for me, because I went with my parents. They were able to learn a lot more about what it is I do, and why I do it, and where I want to go. So I think that definitely was an eye-opener for parents, you know, not just mine, but other people who want to stream, you know, their parents as well. So that was a great time and well worth the watch. So thank you for that, my friends. Anyway, after that, I spent some time wandering around the convention. I had some food and all that type of stuff. You know, the generally convention-y things that people do. So yeah, I was eating food and I wandered around the convention a little bit, checked out some of the cool stuff. I actually learned some stuff regarding retro-related things, which is what I want to do on my live stream more. Retro games and stuff like that, old consoles and old handheld stuff like that. Saw some retro games on sale, so I kind of got a guide for the price on things, which was interesting. Checked out some other bits and pieces, looked at some of the virtual reality stuff they had going on, checked out some of the new indie games that are coming out, we'll come back to that in a little bit. I also checked out the tabletop stuff again. I sat in on the live Hearthstone stage. Is it Hearthstone or Hearthstone? Either way, I sat in on that for a bit and saw some people playing that, which was pretty cool. I kind of want to try Hearthstone at some point. The card game, that one, I want to try that at some point. I also saw a little bit of the CSGO tournament, which was pretty interesting. It's always nice to see when there's like minnows, some tiny team from some town somewhere that are taking on the big giants, and they're actually winning. It's really cool to see. I think it really adds a different dynamic to it. And then the second panel I attended was a YouTuber Q&A with a lot of popular YouTubers. Now, these YouTubers are clearly talented at what they do. Make no mistake, they've done well for themselves, they've achieved a lot of the objectives they set out to do, and so on and so forth. But it wasn't really my audience, nor was it people I watch, and I don't think I would have much interest in watching. They clearly cater towards a younger audience, and that was present in the fact that the people who queued up to do the Q&A were a lot younger than me. And you know what happens, right, when this type of stuff goes down is you get a lot of silly questions, and there was an awful lot of silly questions. The same questions were being repeated over and over. And it just got to a point where after about 15 minutes I'd had enough. I sound like such a negative Nelly with all this, but it really wasn't as bad as I'm making it to sound to be, but there we go. But yeah, I'd had enough of that. So I just decided to wander around the convention more, check out some of the other cool stuff that was going on. And then, by the time this had happened, it was getting towards late afternoon anyway, I actually went to the Razer Gaming Bus, and this was the highlight of my day. For those of you who don't know, I'm involved a little bit in the Spawn community. I idle in the IRC, and I do other things related with the Spawn. And actually there was a guy who also idles in the Spawn that was going to Insomnia that works on the Razer Gaming Bus, right? That's his job. So we arranged to meet up at Insomnia. Oh, are they going to mess with it? Them torches there? I think they will. And these pumpkins, I don't think that's going to be doable. Oh, I should have... Well, boo, man. I guess I'm just going to put some of this at the bottom of this, I suppose. That's all I can do, right? It's a Christmas tree, it's decorated, who's complaining? So yeah, I met my friend Zox on the Razer Gaming Bus, and he is an awesome dude. Oh my god, is he an awesome dude. First and foremost, the queue for the Razer Gaming Bus is insane, because it's a really popular thing. So the queue was around 45 minutes, but because I knew the guy who was running the bus, we got in touch with him, because he was on the entrance to the bus. So we were able to get some VIP treatment, so to speak, and we skipped the queue. And we ended up being put to the front of the queue, And as soon as the people that were already on the bus got off, we'd be the next on. So we were able to get on the Razer Gaming bus straight away. While we were waiting for those people to get off, he was very kind and let me on the bus. They were doing some live stream stuff at the time, but he was talking about some of the Razer equipment that they had for sale, keyboards, mice, things of that nature, and I was blown away by some of the stuff they've got going now. Like, the quality was immense. I actually used them. The quality on them was insane, and the colours, the lights, just everything about it reeks of a top quality product. It was such a high quality product. If I was to buy a keyboard or a mouse again, I would buy Razer without a shadow of a doubt. I know that it's expensive, but it is worth every single penny on that. I was so impressed. Honestly, I've never actually gotten that impressed by a keyboard before. And he did a really nice job of explaining it. And he was a really friendly dude as well, you know. It's always nice to meet somebody that you've met online, out and about. And that was the first time I'd done that, so it was very much a surreal experience for me to actually meet somebody, shake their hand, and have a conversation with them. It was really, really cool. And I'll probably be meeting him again at the next one, because the Razer Gaming Bus will be back and I'm going, so I'm going to say hello again, and it's nice to make friends and things like that. So I then went on the bus after I'd toured all this equipment and the other people had got off, and I went upstairs. And they're actually on the top of the bus. There is a bunch of computers either side in a row, and they were doing some closed beta testing for a game called, I believe, Ancient Rome Total Warfare, or something along those lines. And I actually got as part of the swag for going on the bus, and also for being a friend of that guy, I actually got a Steam code for it, so I'll be able to play it at home. I played this game, and I didn't get it remotely. I kind of just sat down in front of this computer, and I was just expected to, I guess, play. I mean, I wasn't expected to just play and know what I was doing. There was a card that explained what you had to do, but I didn't notice it until I was already out. So the idea is, if you are playing that game, you could either be Romans or Greeks, I believe, were the choice. I ended up going with the Romans, and you are on a team of 10 people. I was one of 10, and the other 10 were on the other side, and they were playing the Greeks. And you were going to war against each other, and the idea was not to die, and hopefully kill all the other people on the other side. I went out really fast. I didn't last long at all. And the idea behind it is that, you know, you get about 15 minutes and you play one of these games. That's typically how long they'll last, is about 15 minutes, which is still pretty cool. And I enjoyed watching it and taking part in it. One thing I was a little bit surprised about, and I guess I shouldn't be totally surprised by it, is the fact that there's all these people on the gaming bus. You all had these headsets, and you were kind of all rigged into your own team. It automatically was able to detect which team you were on and put you with those people. They don't half talk a lot of smack about each other, man. Even in that setting, I thought, you know, when you're in your own home and you're playing a game, then I don't agree with it, but I can see why people would and how they would. But they were doing it, and they were in the same, not even room, they were in the same bus as each other, and they were still doing it. And I'm pretty sure people talk smack about me. I just wasn't sure, so I just didn't say anything into the microphone throughout the whole thing. I just kind of sat there silently and played, and I was, I think, the first out, but there we go. I mean, I'd never played that game before, and I don't even know how to play, so I can be forgiven for that, I'm sure. But either way, I enjoyed it, and it's a game that I would actually enjoy playing once I picked it up, I'm pretty sure. So, I really enjoyed that, really enjoyed hanging out with Zox. He was a really cool dude, and I enjoyed playing that game, and the Razer Gaming Bus really was the highlight of my day. It really saved the day for me. You know, it was a very up and down day. I kind of left the event with mixed feelings. There was definite positives. The atmosphere was great, the Razer Gaming Bus was great, the streaming panel was great, you know, the food was of a high quality, albeit expensive. the venue as a whole was great, and we did get a little bit of a win with the car parking. The idea is that there is a kiosk at each car park that you go and pay at when you arrive. Some people didn't go and pay because it was not mandatory. This is what most people did. And by the time we got back, that kiosk had closed. So we went to the other kiosk, which was the exit one, and we were asking about paying, and this guy pointed us to the closed kiosk and then realized that it was closed, and he was just like, nah, go. Don't worry about it. So we actually managed to avoid paying £12 car parking, which was pretty awesome, I must say. A little bit of a win there. But I mean, overall, it was a good day. The atmosphere, as I say, was great. The Razer Gaming Burst, the streaming panel. I sort of left it with mixed feelings. I think they need some work to do. I'll put that into their feedback form. But there was enough there to show me that it's going places. I think the big improvement that they've got to look at making now is the queuing system needs to be addressed. They've come out and acknowledged that themselves. And I think the layout of the event could be improved. But other than that, really, it was pretty much on point again. Insomnia has had a really good track record of continually improving each convention. And this time I think it stalled a little bit. It got better in places, but it also fell down in other places. So I would say that it was about the same as I55. It wasn't really any massively better. But that said, I know that multiplayer will be working hard, and they'll be disappointed by that to improve things, and I'm pretty sure they will. I mean, the suggestion I gave for dealing with the layout was to get an extra hall, have 4 instead of 3. It wasn't like there was, you know, tight for room. Half of the halls were empty. There was nothing on. There was 2 other venues on. There was an Asian Weddings Festival, which I'm not really sure what that was about, and there was also a dog show on. But aside from that, the rest of the halls were empty. It would have been well worthwhile getting another hall and putting the main and expo stage in there and putting a curtain down the middle and just keep them separate from the main convention. That would have made a lot more sense to me, and I think that will be something that they will look to improve when Easter rolls around, when they do the Easter convention, which, by the way, is Easter Sunday. March 27th is the day I am going, but it's that whole weekend, Friday through Monday, as usual. And I certainly enjoyed going, and I'm looking forward to going again. I have bought tickets. I'm prepared to give it another go. There was enough there for me to warrant buying tickets again. But yeah, I mean, they were the big concerns I had with it. But other than that, you know, the atmosphere and the vibe of the day was great. You know, it was really positive, and I left there having started the day in a bit of a bleh mood, in a really good mood. So, I mean, there's definite positives to take away from that. And as I say, I met some awesome people. You know, chatting with people about retro stuff, meeting Zarks and the Razer Gaming Burst and things like that. It was a ton of fun, and I really enjoyed it. So, I mean, overall, my feeling on it at the moment is it was a ton of fun. It was a blast, as always. The NEC is going to be a great convention center when they've worked all the little kinks out to the gaming festival and such, but it's well on its way. Insomnia is the biggest gaming festival in the UK, and it's continually growing, it's continually getting better. They announced that for I57 next year, that it's going to be split up into 3 conventions. There's going to be 2 smaller ones, one in Edinburgh in Scotland, so if you're a viewer of mine and you're Scottish, then you might want to check that one out if you're near Edinburgh. And I believe there is one in Kilkenny, I think is how you pronounce it, in Ireland. So if you're Irish, then check that out. It'll be a good time, I'm sure. So, I mean, that's that pretty much for me on Insomnia. It was a good convention. I really enjoyed it. Things to tweak, as always, when you move to a new convention center. But and stuff like the staff. Staff were fantastic, on point, brilliant people. I also found car parking to be amazing. Facilities, things like toilets and stuff like that, were immaculate. As silly as it sounds, this type of stuff is important. There's nothing worse than going to a convention and having everything a mess, you know. It's really horrible to deal with. but the toilets were immaculate. There was no litter anywhere. You know, everything was clean, it was polished, and that really was great. They really kept it clean. So that was, again, another positive to take from it. You know, and it's a big place. There's a lot there, and they've got a lot of room to expand and develop into something truly great and truly special. And I think that, you know, with time, that will come. So, with that said, I think I'm probably going to wrap up the episode here. We decorate the Christmas tree. We got that done. Next episode, we might be doing our Christmas presents and dropping them under the tree for each member. I'm not sure. We might be doing something else. We'll see how things go. Sorry for being a little bit stuffy in this video. I actually picked up a cold recently and I was sick for a couple of days, but I am feeling a little bit better now, so I wanted to get this video done and talk about Insomnia as well as get the tree done. There's been definite reasons to be looking at doing that. Just want to check this out really quick here. This is Whisker's new house. He decided to leave the old one and he's going to move in here now. This is going to be his new place. We decided to allocate him a plot right here. We did all of this on live stream, but he's going to be living here next door to Bitter, our dear friend over there. So he's finally going to have a neighbour. But other than that, I've pretty much said all I want to say about Insomnia. It was a ton of fun. Maybe next time one or two of you guys who are my English buddies, I'm looking at you, Moon Squig, can come and check it out. And we'll hang out and have a good time. I'm more than happy to chat throughout the day and hang out. So if you think you'd be interested in Insomnia, I will be there. So that's going to be pretty much it from me today, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Bit of a rambly episode. Next time we'll probably try and do something a bit more productive other than just the Christmas tree. But I did really want to talk about Insomnia and do my recap for those who were not able to make it. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time. So until then, see you later and have a good day.